Hey, it says welcome back. Battlefield posted a video which included David Sirland, the legendary Battlefield 4 developer, and he went into detail explaining why DICE is not bringing back class lock weapons, and I think he did a pretty decent job explaining everything, so we're gonna go over that. On top of that, there was also leaked conversations that he had with other people in Battlefield Labs Discord, so we're gonna see what he said there, and so much more in today's video. If you're new here, hey, I play every Battlefield game that is still run by EA until Battlefield 6 launches, so if you want to keep in touch with Battlefield 6 and just enjoy some good old Battlefield gameplay, then consider leaving a subscription, like, and a comment for future content. Thank you so much for your consideration. Alright, let's check what he said, and then after that I'll be right back with you and Battlefield 5. Check it out.
I think it's a key thing to make classes not be great at everything. That has been the recipe for this in the past. And we're looking at most games of the past actually when it comes to class identity to try and make sure we can get 4 classes that hit the mark. And that stand the test of time. We have flip-flopped back and forth quite a lot in our previous history, and we want to find something we can stick to.
Let me just start by saying I really like David Sirland. His delivery is always very intelligent, and I think he really knows what he's talking about when it comes to Battlefield. I personally didn't know that they're at such an existential crisis when it comes down to the class system. I thought this was already figured out a while ago, and now it's just gonna come down to polishing the game, but as you can see, there's still creative things that need to be decided, like the class system. And honestly, this is probably the big thing that worries me the most, because if we are to follow EA's plan, they said they're launching the game in fall 2025, as it should be after 4 and 5 years of development, but now we see it's used like the class system not being even like creatively decided, I think is a pretty big problem in my humble opinion. When he said that for them it's a key thing to not make classes great at everything, to me what comes to mind immediately of course is the Assault class from Battlefield 4, which had access to the best weapons in the game, such as Ike, FAMAS, Ace-23, and then he also, in my opinion, had the best gadgets in the game as well, specifically the single heal med pouch, which also enabled him to have more movement bugs than the other classes, obviously giving him way more movement over other classes and just make him generally way stronger than the other classes. But I think this was more of a balance problem. Had they fixed the movement bugs that he had they nerfed Ike, had they buffed the other weapons on other classes, I think that balance would be a little bit closer than what it ended up being for basically the entire lifetime of Battlefield 4, and I really don't think that the class lock weapons contributed to that. This was just, in my opinion, dogshit balance. I'm gonna drop a hot take here, and then I'm gonna brace myself for the comments from you guys. Let's take me for example. I'm a person who really likes movement, and despite many people not liking movement from Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 2042, DICE went ahead and reintroduced movement into Battlefield 6, although of course it's gonna have its things and its quirks and so on, but it's still movement is movement, right? And they brought it in, like I said, despite many people being against it. And of course, me as one portion of the player base was very pleased about this. And I think the class lock weapons is another of those situations. Only here, a major overwhelming majority really wants to have class lock weapons. And I really don't think it's such a big deal to have class lock weapons in Battlefield 6. I really think DICE is maybe here overreacting that this is somehow going to impact the game negatively. I really don't think it's such a big of a deal, man. I mean, it worked in Battlefield 3, it worked in Battlefield 1, it worked in Battlefield 4. Those are your most sold games. I really don't think it's such a big of a deal. Even if they creatively are against it, I really don't think it's such a big of a deal. You're gonna have to let me know how you feel about that in the comments. If you want to rip me apart, rip me apart. If you agree with me, then you agree with me. But it's just not that big of a deal. I just don't understand it. As I was reading the backlash on X, on Battlefield Labs Discord screenshot leaks, on Reddit, on all the social medias, I really don't think this is a hill to die on. It really isn't. And I think they should just lock the class weapons, fuck it, and just push it out the door, and that's it. Move to bigger things, because, you know, the game is gonna launch in like 6 months. There's bigger things to worry about. Just lock the class weapons. So yeah, anyway, let's move on to the screenshot from the Battlefield Labs Discord. This is also from Tiger. Incentives to pay classes based on what they bring and bring to the squad is the one reason we are doing this, not forcing a class based on a weapon choice. It needs to be clear and readable what the signature weapons being, and balance as well. This whole thing needs to be balanced to find our class identities that can stand the test of time. It's why we are talking about and testing this topic with you at all scale. This is a very divisive topic, and getting it right is crucial and valuable. This is not the approach of Battlefield 2042 after the specialist changes. This is much more impactful. Play it, feedback on how impactful it will be. Test the worrisome combos you theorize will be bad for classes and report back. We want classes to be more defined than ever, hence why we have more unique class gadgets and throwables than ever, plus traits and training. We don't want to bulk out the class definition to come from weapons alone. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I guess I just want to test this and I want feedback. So I really hope if the feedback is, hey, this is horrible dog shit and we just want to have Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 and BF1 class system back, then I really hope they just deliver there and not give us some reasoning why they're not gonna do it. And honestly, hear what he's saying, that he doesn't want that people are picking classes based on the weapons. Dude, if Medic didn't have Ike, I would still play Medic in Battlefield 4 because I really like getting healed. And if I'm playing some other role, for example, where I'm camping on a hill, I'm gonna be Sniper regardless what weapons he has because I need a spawn beacon. So the gadgets were always defining the classes, in my humble opinion. I've never picked a class because of a weapon. It just so happened that Medic had the best guns, and like I said earlier, I think that was just a balance problem rather than being something that's like super game defining. I really think they're taking it a little bit too deep about this weapon restoration. It's really not that fucking deep. Am I the only person who really thinks that the class lock wasn't so deep? It's like, whatever, dude. I want to play support when I need fucking ammo, and when nobody's putting ammo, that's when I'm support. When we need heals, I'm medic. When we need to kill a tank, I'm engineer. I was picking the classes always, since Battlefield 1942, based on their gadgets. Always. Never over the weapon. It was just a compliment to have good weapons on a class. That's it. It wasn't the defining feature. But of course, we need to understand this is a pre-alpha and I want to test things. So if I'm ever invited to the pre-alpha, yes, I will test the no class lock restriction on classes. But I feel like I know how it's gonna end up. Like, I'm gonna play medic because nobody's healing, or I'm gonna play support because nobody's throwing me ammo. And then I'm just gonna use weapons like the plus system, basically. If the map is like super long range, I'm gonna have a sniper on support and just resupplying myself with ammo. And if you remember, you can also heal yourself as support in Battlefield 6 labs. So I'm just gonna play support with sniper. If we're playing a close range map, I'm gonna equip some type of a P90 or some, Ike or some AR which goes brr very fast, and then I'm just gonna do that. So it's just, like I said, to me the weapons are just gonna be like plus system only when I die, right? So that's what I feel like it's gonna end up like, at least from my experience playing Battlefield 2042. Anyways, enough about what I want. I want to hear what you want. For example, will you still play Battlefield 6 even if there is no class lock restriction? How big of an impact is this for you? Is this a game breaker for you? Like, how important is this to you? Perhaps I should just make a poll. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to make a poll shortly after the video goes live. I'm going to launch the video in a couple of hours from this recording you hear now. I'm going to make a poll, and then you guys please vote there. Everybody who's watching my videos, go vote there. And then perhaps I just compile a screenshot from that and send it to them so they can see exactly how people feel on this channel as well. I'm just going to assume that the vast majority of you really don't like the no class locks. So because if I'm just going to judge it off of the social media, how everybody's reacting, I'm just going to assume you guys are reacting the same. So yeah, I'm going to do that poll. Please vote on it. And if you enjoyed the video also, and if you're a regular sub, leave a like in the comment for the algorithm. I would really appreciate it. If you're new here and you enjoyed Battlefield 5 gameplay and just me in general, then consider leaving a subscription for future content. I really post a lot of Battlefield content, and I play every Battlefield game that is still ran by EA. With that being said, guys, I'll see you guys on Friday, because they still have this 72-hour playlist coming in. There's going to be a lot of leaks, and I'm going to see how the shitstorm is going to be with this, class stuff drama that just developed yesterday. So yeah, guys, take it easy. I'll see you on Friday. Have a great day. Bye-bye.